Hello and welcome to our video today. Back here in the garden again, first day of spring, St. Bridget's Day, the patron saint of creativity. So gardening is a great creative thing to be doing. I love the spring and I love the brighter days and the longer evenings. So today we're going to be talking about perennials. What is a perennial? A perennial is a plant that grows for 2 years and more. Some of them grow for far longer, some of them have shorter lifespans. Some of them are clump forming, some of them are very vigorous and spread a lot. But they all have their season and they all flower at a different time of the year. So you can create a beautiful perennial border for yourself. Also, they are a good source of food for the bees, following on from our video last week on pollinators and pollination. So the first perennial I'm going to show you today is Berginia. Berginia is this plant here. It's a low growing evergreen plant. It forms a lovely border, evergreen border. But this plant has been here for many years now, probably 10-12 years, spreading itself along. So it's gone shabby and scraggly now. And what I need to do is really dig it all up and replant it. So I need a team of woofers here in the garden to do that for me. But anyway, I get my spade, put on my gloves, and I'll show you how you can just transplant a piece and grow it for yourself. So we'll pick up a piece here if I can. Okay. Down here. So that's a piece of the plant and it has big rhizomes for roots. So I'll show you in a few minutes how you can get that ready to replant. Just put into my container there. The next plant I wanted to show you is a fern that's growing in under this here, this shrub. It's one of the oldest plants, prehistoric, one of the oldest plants. It seeded itself there, and there are several lovely varieties of ferns, from the ones that grow on the side of the ditches to ones that grow in wet areas to ones that grow on dry stone walls. So many varieties of fern, a lovely plant as well. Moving on now, and I want to show you my this here is Geum Mrs. Bradshaw. It has a beautiful orange flower on it, so it's beautiful to look out. And I divided it last year, so I have a number of plants now. If you're interested in seeing perennials growing, at Huntingbrook Garden in Wicklow, they have absolutely, the owner Jimmy Blake has a magnificent garden that you can visit when the restrictions end, and you see all the perennials. The next perennial I have here is hellebore. Hellebore are such a beautiful flower. This is a lovely little yellow one. It's a clump forming one. Lovely small leaf to it. Really beautiful, flowering now in winter time. It sets seeds, so you can have different little seeds. But if you wanted to have a plant the same, to divide it up, if you want the same plant, you divide the parent plant. Otherwise you get the seeds that might differ, but that might be beautiful as well. Then I have the digitalis, the foxgloves. They're biennial and they seed themselves, and they have the beautiful tall spires of flower later on, and the bees love those flowers as well. I have a nymphofa here, a red hot poker. It's a yellow flower though, and it's an early one. It just planted it about 2 years ago. And this here in the pot is flower Hemeracalis. I got it in June Blake's garden last year. She's a sister of Jimmy, and if you want to see perennials growing at their very best, her garden is well worth a visit. It's in Wicklow as well. So you could do the two on the one day, actually, is what I did the last time. And this is a yellow alstroemeria, which I should have planted, but I will plant it now. It's beginning to peep, so I'm delighted with that. And looking forward, it's all about looking forward to what these plants do, and it's for the good of the environment and for your own pleasure. perennials that are in flower at this time of the year, I wanted to show you the primula. This is a primula with a beautiful lilac flower. Again, it's evergreen leaves all winter, and the flowers last for 2 months, 3 months. They're absolutely lovely, and it forms a lovely edge to a border as well. We have a Virginia again. This is a different Virginia with a different colour of a leaf, so it's absolutely beautiful. And here I have another little grey-leafed perennial, Centura. It will have pink and blue flowers later on. It's a spreader, but it's very nice. And the beautiful thing about gardening is I see the tulips peeping through the ground here. So they're lovely pink tulips. And I know that later on I'll have pink lilies here. I know they're bulbs, but they're colour. Another of the perennials is the anemone. That's for later on. That's a lovely tall pink and white flowers that will grow in the autumn time. Very nice. I'd also have phlox here later on, and a astrantia, beautiful iris, evergreen iris. Again, I have divided that a number of times, and it is a beautiful purple flower on it. Needs tidying up. These videos have got me working on tidying up my garden. So what I want to show you now is this magnificent hellebore. Just look at the colours of that. Isn't that fabulous? They say to take the leaves off the hellebores, but I love the leaves as well. I think they're really nice, but the deep colour of that is absolutely beautiful. This here is Arum italicum pictum. Again, a perennial that comes up, related to the wild arum that grows, you'd see growing in the hedgerows. Then there are grasses. This is a Molinia, beautiful grass. Grasses were very fashionable there a few years ago. They were very fashionable and everybody was buying them. But they are lovely. They give a lovely movement in the garden, a lovely sway. See how tall that was when it was, but they need to be taken out now. You have grasses from the small little Carex Evergold, which is a little yellow variegated plant, low growing on the ground. You have this Molinia, you have the miscanthus, you have smaller miscanthus sabrina that has a lovely pinky flower, you have the very tall miscanthus, you have Stipa gigantica, which is wild oats, absolutely beautiful as well, and the lovely oats waving in the wind. You have the pampas grass, several different grasses. In here then we have daffodils I see coming up here. This is sedum. Sedum has a beautiful wine coloured flower. There's pinks and wines in it, and it will be autumn flowering, but I leave on the dead flower heads because I like them in the frost. They look lovely. So I just picked up a little bit of the root of that, like this. I just dug out a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to plant up that as well. And then back out here to the daylilies, the hemerocallis. I have some of them growing, so I'm just going to show you how to divide them. So, to divide my, a perennial usually would come in a pot. You buy it in your garden centre or wherever, buying them online now for safety's sake. So they come in a pot and you would plant them in the ground. And after a number of years, they get bigger and grow. Now I already have this hemerocallis divided into a number of pieces. So I just dug out this piece earlier on. The ground here is very wet now at the moment because it has been raining and snow and everything. And we're lucky to get a dry patch to be able to do the video in. So you can see there's plenty of roots and plenty of green here. So I need to cut down through the plant. Oh, I might do it on the ground. I did it on the ground before. Oh, you need to be strong. You need to have a man or a woofer or somebody to help you sometimes in the garden. Now, there we are. So that's it. That's a daylily. They're thousands of different varieties of daylilies, and they all have different coloured flowers. This is a yellow one. There's yellows and oranges and pinks and purples. Several different varieties. So if you just wanted to plant that straight back into the ground, I'm going to plant it here. Got my hole already prepared there. And I'm going to put in some compost into it and plant my Auricales there. They have flowers at all, there's different varieties, and they have flowers different times of the year. So they're a lovely plant. The flower just lasts, each flower just lasts for one day. But there are a succession of lovely flowers. So if you wanted to divide up that piece, you could divide it into 5 or 7 pieces, whatever. And I see the worms here in it, so that means that they're working through and keeping the ground fertile. The other one I'd like to show you is this primula. I dug up a clump from along the border. So if you wanted to divide that into a number of plants as well, just cut through and you have a lovely plant and a lovely piece of root to it as well. So again, you could plant, make several different plants out of this piece, and therefore put it in along your border. So even there, lovely pieces of root and plant. So to plant that, I'm just going to do it here to show you. Just plant it. I have already some there planted along to enhance my border. We'll just put this piece in here, little vacant spot. But you needn't worry, it actually multiplies quite quickly and grows very well. And no minding to this at all, really. It's just superb. Most perennials are great. The only problem is when they get bigger and thicker, it can be very hard to dig them up, like the agapanthus, and very thick roots, hard to dig them up. And of course there's always the little weeds, and hard enough to keep them suppressed. But anyway, do your best to keep the weeds out. You can leave the dandelions because they're good for the bees, but I suppose every plant is good for the bees, but you have to try and keep the place looking tidy and nice as well. That's the primulas. And now we'll just cut up, just put a little bit of compost in the bottom of those pots here. And this is the sedum. I thought I had my secateurs here, but I haven't. So that's the little, I would cut off the dead pieces off it. And that's my little plant there. It has nice root on it, and the thing, so, and the green growth. So put some compost into my pot. Put the plant in, nicely like that, and put the compost around it. And that's your new plant. And leave it in the pot for a while until the roots establish, and put it into the ground there wherever you'd like it to grow. The other one I was going to do is the Virginia. This is the Virginia we cut up over there. It is a very rhizome of a root, very thick root. So I'm just going to cut off there. And you still have some nice root, rhizome, and some fresh green leaf there. And a little bit of ivy growing in. The ivy again is everywhere. But it's, again, it provides food for the bees in the autumn time. So we can't be complaining about it either. We have to. So again, compost in, firm it in, water it, give it a watering, and label it. Do you know what? I'm bad at labeling things, but it's very important. You think you'll remember? Oh, I thought I had them there as well. Do you think you'll remember? Oh, here they are. I have my secateurs as well. You think you'll remember where you planted something, but you quickly forget. So these are little labels that you get. Write them on with an indelible pen or with a pencil and pop them in your container or in the ground. You can hear the birds singing here today. It's lovely. And that's it for now. Of course, there are different perennials for different times of the year, and the idea is to create a succession of colour in your garden. So you've seen what's in flower now in the springtime. Of course, there are many more plants available in the springtime, but that's what I have in perennials, and hope you enjoy your garden. Next week I'm going to be showing you how to look after, feed and prune roses and get ready to sow seed, vegetable and flower seed. So until